When Jews began to rebuild their home in Israel, they had to do things they hadn't done for centuries. They had to cultivate land that had never been cultivated before, from the rocky hills of the Galil to the desert wastes of the Negev. On barren lands they made farms, in desolate landscapes they built villages. They had to integrate wave after wave of Olim, new arrivals from across the globe. They had to build a society and create the political and economic infrastructure of a nation. And in some ways, the most remarkable of all, they made the decision to revive Hebrew, the language of the Bible, and turn it after more than 2,000 years into a living tongue again. The Chalutzim, the early pioneers, were visionaries. My great-grandfather, Rabbi Aryeh Leib Frumkin, was one of them. He was a rabbi from Lithuania who made Aliyah in 1871 and began writing his History of the Sages of Jerusalem, chronicling the continuous Jewish presence there since the days of Nachmanides in 1267. In 1881, pogroms broke out in more than 100 towns in Russia. That was when he realized that Aliyah was no longer a pilgrimage of the few, but an urgent necessity for the many. He became a pioneer, moving to one of the first agricultural settlements in the new Yishuv. The early settlers had caught malaria and left. Rabbi Aryeh Leib led the return and built the first house there. The name they gave the town epitomizes their dreams. Using a phrase from the book of Hosea, they called it Petach Tikva, the gateway of hope. Today, it's the 6th largest city in Israel. One song, to me, sums up the hardship and the dreams of those early days. Naomi Shemer's Al Kol Eila. For all these things, the honey and the sting, the bitter and the sweet, grant your protection, dear God. Hashiveni va'ashuva el haaretz hatova. Bring me back, and I will return to the good land.
על הדבש ועל הבוקר, על המה והמתוק, על ביתנו התינוקת, שמו קהילי הטוב, על האש המבוערת, על המים הזכים, על האיש השב הביתה מן המרחקים, על כל על כל שמונה לי קהילי הטוב, על הדבש ועל המוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נתן כל התורה, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני והשובה אל הארץ הטובה. שמו כלי הזר הבית, על הגן, על החומה, מיגון, מפחד פתע וממלחמה. שמו על המעט שיש לי, על האור ועל הטף, על הפרי שלא השילוד ושנרסם, על כל שמונה לי כלי הטוב, על הדבש ועל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נתן כל התורה, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני ולשובה אל הארץ הארץ הטובה מרשש אילם הרוח מרחוק נושק כוכב משאלות ליבי בחושך נרשמות עכשיו נא לשמור לי על כל אלה ועל האהובי נפשי על השקט, על הבכי ועל זה השיר על הכל אלה, על כל הלילה שמור על מי כלי הטוב על הדבש ועל המוקץ על המה והמתוק על נתן אל תשכח את התקווה השיבני ושובה אל הארץ הטובה השיבני ואשובה אל הארץ הטובה
And they came. They came to Israel from so many lands. In the early days they came from Eastern Europe and Yemen. Then came the Holocaust survivors. Then in the first years of the state they came from other Arab lands. Operation Magic Carpet brought the Jews from Yemen on eagle's wings, as they said when they saw planes for the first time. Operation Ezra and Nehemiah brought the Jews of Iraq. They came from Turkey, Iran, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Libya. Later, when the Soviet Union opened its doors, they came from Russia. They came from more than 100 countries, speaking more than 80 languages. More than 3,000 years earlier, Moses had prophesied, even if you have been banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there the Lord your God will gather you and bring you back. And so it was. A dismembered people, torn into 100 fragments and scattered across the world, came together again as a living nation. There's nothing like it in all the annals of history. Here is the Sheba Choir, together with Shlomo Gronech, telling the story of their journey from Ethiopia.